What is up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. It's time for episode 4 of the Tigers long-term franchise, and we got to start with the big news immediately. Watanabe is signed. I'm diving right into it. I can't wait. Y'all are going to see it anyway. I mean, the blue right here sticks out completely, so if anybody's looking at the screen, they're going to see it. So I'm not going to hold it to the 7th bullet point here because it's not worth it. Now, when I originally put it on here, it was a Watanabe update because he had said he was interested, simmed a little bit further, and he signed. It is January 15th, the International Free Agent Signing Day, but we've got a lot to cover to get to that point. You might notice a few other new players there, so we'll go ahead and get into that. First thing we did was go ahead and pull off the Willy Adames trade, and obviously, as you know, we signed Watanabe, so we did both of the big key moves that we had discussed last time out. There was some interest in making this trade here in the comments, and the Watanabe move, no one was avidly against it. I think they were saying maybe I jumped the gun a little bit too early as far as my offer. They would have waited. That is one thing that I'm not great at. Patience as far as signing free agents. When I see somebody, particularly with those international free agents who come over from Japan or Cuba and they look awesome, or Korea, or, you know, other places too, but those are probably the three main. I want to jump, especially in a situation like this where the team is on the rise. We're at the, we're at the lower end of the rebuild, and that you can make that big splash. I have a hard time kind of being like, all right, take it easy. I have no chill. I'm like, here's money. I want you on the team. As far as like the dance that you're doing of courting them as a free agent, I don't wait 3 days to text. I'm right there with, here's my money, please play for my team. So we got Adames first in that Motown deal. They ate 20% of it. They would have eaten a bit more for a player, but it was like 1.4 mil for like a decent player, like a 45-50 type. And I was like, nah, that's not really worth it. So we'll take the 20%. That's fine on his 13.2. We had some money in this offseason. Adames and Watanabe basically absorbed the bulk of that, and I'm totally chill with that. From there, we made a move for Mike Soroka in a trade that we thought would work well. I say we being the Tigers. Right now, I say we a lot when we're talking about my teams on Twitch because I do get a lot of input from the chat, so it does feel more like a we. I say we here. Obviously, I'm the one making the decisions, but I do love the feedback from the comments as well, though. So I'm always going to be seeking those out, even in situations where I know the move is going to be made before I can read all the comments and get feedback on it. I still want the feedback. I want to know what y'all are thinking of the moves that we're making. So here we got Soroka for Kerry Carpenter and Austin Bergner. But with this deal, here's the thing. I like Carpenter. It would have been cool if we could have figured him out as like a 25-30 homer type guy in Detroit, but we are flush with lefty outfielders. And the simple fact is, I thought he was the easiest one to trade. I'm a huge Akil Baddoo fan, as I've mentioned, and Austin Meadows is just better. So when you're looking at moving somebody, I think Carpenter was the guy, even though he's got, potentially 55 contact, 55 home run. He's got a decent arm there to play one of the corners, but 50 range, not too much speed. There is a pretty modest I avoid K profile as well. So Carpenter had to move on with Bergner. Now, you also might have seen this, that Bergner's out 9 months with a torn UCL. That obviously made him easier to include. Soroka, for his own part, has some injury issues. He is fragile, and not much for missing bats, but 55 movement, 55-60 on the control there. Of course, that's going to be 55 current, 60 potential. I think I mentioned this on my last Rockies video. That's just going to be kind of my naming convention on these videos. So if you're watching both series or anything, I'm just going to start going with saying both numbers in order. The first one will be the current, the next will be the overall. That I didn't make that up, by the way. That's known, but I'm going to use it here instead of always saying 55 current, 60 potential. It's just 55-60. Y'all know what that is in your head when you hear two numbers in a row like that. But he does have the good work ethic. He's a ground ball pitcher, Soroka is, and now our infield is shaping up quite nicely to take care of somebody like that. Baez, of course, his biggest asset is the defense. We got Adames, who is a true shortstop, moved over to third with 65 range, 65 double play, 60 error and arm. And Watanabe over at second isn't too bad. His arm is a little bit weaker, but everything else is in check to make him a quality plus glove over there. I would like it a little bit better on the turn double play, but with the bat that he's bringing, I'll take it. So we got Adames and Soroka, and I am going to go more into Watanabe in just a moment. I just wanted to cover it right away that, hey, He got signed. We'll dive deep here in a second. But there was another pickup on the pitching side, and I had mentioned this at the end of the last episode that I would be trying to maybe pick up some mid-tier pitching that hopefully we can turn into something. Soroka counts as that for sure, and so does Aaron Savale, who I did sign to a $1.3 million deal. Nothing too crazy. He has 2 option years left. He doesn't have to live on the major league team. He can be sent out if it's not really working. He put up a 6.80 ERA last year in 147 innings. We don't judge everything off ERA, but a 6.80, it's pretty hard to fake that. If you're putting that up, you're struggling. But he does have 65 control, 45 stuff, and movement. I am embracing a little bit of the low movement aspect given where our park is at here. I feel like we can definitely do that and not put ourselves in major trouble. And so that's kind of what I'm doing. Obviously, I wish he had a bit better stuff, and I will get into somebody that I was going to sign who does have the stuff and control but lacks the movement, who I thought would have been a good fit, but push come to shove, he was just a little bit too expensive for what I wanted to do. In fact, I'll just cover that right now because it's Andrew Heaney, and I don't know if he's signed yet. He did. He went back to the Dodgers. So I had been talking to him a bit, and he took 7 from... Okay, that's some bullshit. I offered him more on both ends of this. So he just didn't want to come to a bad team. And you know what? Frankly, I get that, right? It's a frustrating thing to deal with in the game. But as far as like making it make sense for realism aspect, of course you would take less to be a Dodger than you would to be a Tiger for obvious team context reasons. So I get it, but also F you, Heen Dog, you stupid jerk. He probably did that because I changed his injury proneness back to fragile the way it should be. And so I think he's sticking it to me. But you see this profile here, 65, 40, 60. I do think that that can really work in our ballpark, even as a fly ball pitcher. I think we've got enough outfield defense to cover a guy like that. Sure, he'll still give up some homers, but it's a spacious ballpark too. So I do think he would have worked there. I was offering him more of, I think, 7.5 this year, 9 next year. And I even gave him the player option. So he didn't want the extra money. I still wish him luck. I'm not going to be an asshole about it. Now let's get into Watanabe because he is our new acquisition. You might have noticed that his numbers are down a little bit from where we had originally saw him, which we knew was going to come. One of the other things that was talked about both in the feedback forums that I had, both with my Discord and with the comment section of the video, was that probably don't want to make the move with just the low scouting, but I'd already made the offer, so that was kind of set in stone. But I agree. And again, that goes back to my lack of patience with signing free agents. I totally grant that that's an issue that I have, but I did what I did. And you see here, there have been a few drops. On the first report, in fact, he did 2 different December reports here. His potential contact and power both dropped 5. Okay, then the current power dropped 5 as well, down to 65. Bottom line, though, you're still dealing with somebody who's really going to make an impact on this ball club. Is he still worth 28 mil? I don't think that these changes suggest that he's not. In fact, the only thing that changes on who he is today is the -5 power. Those potentials can be re-earned, right? I don't lose my head too much on that because if things mesh well and the coaches like him and all that, then we can push those back up as far as the potential. But as far as his current goes, he lost 5 on the home run. 65 is still excellent with 65 gap, 60 eye, 50 contact with the 55 potential. And then the 40 avoid K. That is obviously the weakness there. But adaptability, work ethic, and intelligence, and decent defense, this is a star. And again, we got him on 28 mil this year, 25 next year, 22 the year after. He can opt out after year 3, and then it's 20, 17, 17, 18. Obviously, if he's great, he's probably going to opt out. And that's okay. It ends up being a 3-year deal. Things will be a lot different on the ball club by then. But I didn't want to make a super long commitment to somebody with a 40 avoid K, plain and simple. So if he's great for 3 years and then leaves, we bid him adieu, and hopefully he's somebody who, you know, gets us to the playoffs in that 3rd year or something. If not, and we're quote unquote stuck with him, it's at prices that probably won't kill us. And there's no NTC, which is no trade clause, of course. So we don't have to worry about that aspect too. If we had to get out of it, we could certainly do that. So very happy with Watanabe, and I can't wait to see what old Blue Collar does for us. Then we got the lottery results, and those were good. I am happy to share those with y'all. Let me go back to when that was. That was at the winter meetings, and we jumped up to 3rd from 10th. So that's pretty sick. Very happy about that. We had a nice, solid 74 win season, which, yes, I do believe is solid when you're talking about where we were at as a ball club. As I've mentioned, I got no problem with a mid-70s win type of team. And we still were able to move up 7 spots to the 3 spot. That's great. If I can be greedy, I wish it was more in the 2026 season, because that's when the drafts get really good. But I'll still take a top 3 pick, even in one of the quote unquote real life player classes, which is what you get for the first 3 years. Plus, if we're still picking that high in 2026, things haven't gone very well. So I actually should amend that. I don't want that to happen in 2026. We'll take our 3rd pick here. So then Savali signed, lottery results. Oh, Jalen Beeks had a setback, and it's pretty bad, y'all. He's pretty much cooked. 8 months on his shoulder inflammation. He's undergoing surgery. So he's in trouble. The scouting's probably going to dip further. We got to get out of this, to be honest. Now, he's not expensive. It's not going to hurt. So what I mean by get out of this is that this is it. He'll come back. Let's see. It's January right now. He'll come back at the end of the year. Maybe he can contribute. Maybe we're a fringe contender, and he brings a little September spark or something. I'm not holding my breath for anything, though, at this juncture. If we get nothing and we paid him 1.9, them's the breaks. You take chances, and sometimes things like that do happen. Then the Rule 5 came. Now, one of the things that I've been more keen on recently, since we made a huge move in my Red series on Twitch, we were scouting the Rule 5 pool, and we saw this guy who was 35-65, and we were like, you know what? We're probably too good of a team to take somebody who is that far away from developing. But it'd be really nice, as a Rule 5, I should say, because you have to keep him on your Major League roster the whole year. But obviously I was still interested, and one of the things that I just never really clicked with me, to be honest. I kind of learned doing this year, so you can laugh at me if this is something you've always done. I didn't really think about it. I had to actually learn it from my Twitch chat, was to try to trade for guys that you like. If you see somebody you like, see what you can do for trade, then you're not stuck to the Rule 5 restrictions, which means you have to keep him on the roster unless he's injured. You have more flexibility. So we did that with one guy, and we drafted another. I didn't want to do it too. It does feel like a little, I don't want to say cheesy. You have to give up assets, right? There's nothing bad about it. But the simple fact is we didn't have that many spots to begin with. So we drafted one guy, we traded for one. Our first guy that we traded for, or our first guy that we picked up, was the trade, and we got Franklin DaCosta from the Tampa Bay Rays. He was Rule 5 eligible, but I said, you know what? He's 23. Let's try to trade for him so that he's got options. He doesn't have to be on the team immediately. He does have to go on the 40, but that's okay. He's a straight 55 down the, well, actually, no. He can get to 55 movement, but he's basically solid green across the board except for the 40 stam. So he's probably stretched a little bit as a starter, but he could make a really nice reliever. And I'm going to say it. You already know it's coming.
Say the line, Bart.
He could be quite a stopper, potentially, especially if he develops a little bit. I'm talking a little 5 here and there, and this guy is definitely going into a nice left-handed stopper's role. So I thought this was a good pickup from Tampa Bay. What did we give? Adam Wolf. I mentioned him earlier. He's also very low. So I don't know if these guys just went down in overalls, or I was just referencing somebody else, because going back to that Adames deal, when I added a little bit more percentage and I did the make this work now, the lowest player was a 45, and I thought it was Wolf, but he's a 25 right now as a reliever, so he couldn't have been a 45. So I don't know, maybe it was on OSA or some shit. Doesn't matter. We got DaCosta, nice lefty pickup. Then we dipped back into the pitcher pool for our actual Rule 5 pick and took Ronnie Enriquez, who looks pretty similar to our boy DaCosta from the right side. He's 60-60-55 with 40 stam. So again, potential starter, also 23 years old. Couple of nice pickups here. I'm very happy with both of these. Now, of course, Enriquez has to stay on the roster. Is 81 active days left. I don't know what that means. I've never seen that before. I thought this was 81 send downs at first. I was like, wait a minute, you can't do that. He does have an opti left, but it's going to be this year that's used. And since he's Rule 5, I did want to trade for him, but here was the problem. Actually, another thing about Enriquez, we maybe could have gotten him for free, quote unquote, because he was on waivers. And I did the claim. So I hit claim on him, but I was worried that somebody else was going to take him in the Rule 5. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to draft him. Maybe the claim would have went through at the end of the, or it probably would have, but somebody could have taken him out from under us. I didn't want to lose him. And once I did the claim, I couldn't trade for him. So I punished myself a little bit there. It does make it a little bit more difficult, but that's okay. It ups the degree of difficulty to where he's not as movable. I hope he does well. He's going to be on the team for a while. And if things really fall apart, then he's gone, right? Like, it's not that hard. But we can send DaCosta down if we need to. I already sent down Joey Wentz, but we're still heavy. Beeks will, of course, go on the IL when he can. And what else do we have to do? Anything? Well, I mean, obviously we'll have kind of some spring training battles. So Beeks will go off for sure. That'll make it 15, so we'll be too heavy. We'll probably get a few other call-ups. Brant Herter is somebody who I feel like has been looking pretty nice. Oh, wait, I don't have to go into the editor like that when I want to change one of our own players' positions. Because I like to see what people are going to be at relief if I'm like on their team, or starter, vice versa, whichever one they're not listed in yet. And so I will go in and change their position for a moment just to see, and usually that's over here if you're doing it with one of a player who's not on your team. So Herter is a 55, 50, 65 as a reliever with 50 stam, but then you throw him in the rotation, or you do it twice, and then he loses 5 stuff, which isn't bad. That's pretty customary. So he's in the 6 starters role right now. I always have 6 starters showing in the offseason to know who our next man up is. And honestly, it might be Soroka over Herter so that we can get a third lefty in the bullpen. Actually a second now because Beeks is cooked. DaCosta might be thrust into that stoppers role sooner than expected now that Beeks is murked. I forgot about I kind of was not thinking about that when I was looking at this list here. I know you can do like none specified for primary role. I wish you could take them out of there so you can see what it looks like with them just not being there the way you can with a hitter. But that's all right. My brain is capable enough to put Beeks off to the side and look at the picture like that. So it's 15 pitchers right now. We'll have to figure out 2. I mean, we're at January 15th. Things will happen. We'll figure it out. So that got you caught up on things that have happened with our club. Let's take a look at some of the offseason signings and see what's been going on there as far as big-time signings. Julio Urias and Shohei Ohtani on the same day inked with Cincinnati. And honestly, I just learned of this myself. So I'm seeing this at the same time y'all are. That is crazy. And it happened to be the same day that we got Watanabe. So MLB Network was on fire this day with these 3 moves, with the Tigers and the Reds both popping up and saying, boom, we're here. What's going on? Ohtani to the Reds. That's wild. We actually did that in my Reds series. 6 years, $211.5 million. So call it 212. Which, of course, the game has had a little bit of trouble valuing Ohtani the way he should be. I think he should get like 40 plus per year. But this isn't like egregious. If he's getting like 18 mil, 20 mil, 22, and it's like scaling up from there, that's a little bit much. But this is fine. I don't have a problem with this since he did have to put a big outlay out there. And they got Ohtani. But that's not it. Urias coming with him. That is a dynamic 1-2 punch to sign on the same day as the Reds. Did they get a new owner? Because holy shit, that is wild. And if they didn't, they didn't. So where the hell was this when I was there, you piece of garbage? Unbelievable. He eventually, unfortunately, passed away. I have no idea how it happened. But his son took over and was like all blue and green on his profile. We called Robert Castellini Bitch Made Bob. And then when his son came in, it was Beautiful Bob Jr. So, hey, good on Cincy, though. I love that they're spending. That's pretty dope. And then you saw, of course, we got Watanabe. On our deal there, Matt Chapman goes 4 years, 82 mil to the White Sox. So he's still a great defender, power, eye, his same profile. He put up 6 WAR last year with a beautiful season in Toronto. Even if he's more of the 3 WAR guy that he was in 2022, that'll be fine for the White Sox. They won't be too pressed by that at 20 mil per. And we're just looking at big signings. Enny Romero is not a huge signing, but he did get 20 mil for 3 years. Where the hell has he been that he's getting that kind of bread? That seems weird. Coming over from KBO. Okay, actually, you know what? I'm fine with that. I've seen some weird signings in the game recently, not in this sim specifically, but in some other saves. Like Drew Verhagen getting 4 years, $87 million. No basis for it. He did not change. He didn't TCR into a god. There was zero basis for it. It looks like, to be honest, like a typo. Like he should have gotten 4 years, 8.7 mil, and they added an extra zero. But this makes more sense. First off, 6.5 a year is not crazy for somebody who went over to the KBO and put up a hell of a year. So he's coming back. They're giving him a shot. I don't really see it with the ratings, but maybe their scout thinks he's legit. He's got big stamina. So I can get behind that. It's not Drew Verhagen, that's for sure. Then from there, we have Joey Gallo signing 5 years, 75 mil with the Dodgers. They would never commit that long to such a flawed profile. But I know he has the defense to go with it. And, you know, I love Gallo. I root for him. But his flaws as a player are evident, of course. From there, the next big signing, by the way, that took us up to December 13th. CJ Cron got a 1 year, 10 mil to stay with Colorado. We're just looking at guys that got double-digit millions per year. Toronto is going to pick up Jock Peterson at 3 years, 32.6, so just about 11 mil per. 11.6 mil per for Martin Perez over 3 years with Milwaukee. And, you know, with the big movement and solid control, great stamina, he can survive. And 412, 138, if he does that, if he's just that guy, that's totally fine. He does not have to be the 2022 version to earn this contract. Not at all. In fact, he can be a bit worse than this 3-WAR type of guy and be totally fine. A win and a half is worth 11.6 mil if you're eating up 180, 170 innings there. So not a bad deal for them there in Milwaukee. And then we got, let's see, Jock, Martin Perez. JD Martinez is going to Oakland on a 1 year, 13.5 mil. He didn't quite bounce back the way he has in real life this year as far as his hitting. Actually, what's he on pace for in real life? Because that does look pretty decent relative to his rebirth this year. The power's back this year, though. Oh, he's already got 15 homers in 46 games. Yeah, he's crushing that pace. But he was pretty solid last year, so 13.5 mil, that's fine. I don't know if the team, it makes a lot of sense there for Oakland to sign him, but if they're thinking this is a $13.5 million prospect in that they're going to flip JD for a prospect, I can get behind it with that thinking in mind. From there, we've got, I hate that when you click on a guy and you hit the back button, it goes all the way back to the top instead of just staying where you were. But it looks like we don't have anybody else with a big signing yet. Kikuchi got 7.8 mil per. Oh, Omar Narvaez got 5 years, 79 million from the Mets. What the hell? Okay, I mean, he's got 65 ability. That is great. But damn, 2-WAR. He's got to be this guy. You got to be getting 2-WAR out of that pretty consistently. By the way, Zach Wheeler no hitting the Tigers right now into the 7th. That's not great. All right, so you're caught up on it's free agent signings. Rubby, my boy Ruby De La Rosa, big fan of his when he was coming up. Always wanted him to turn into something big. Looks like he's back with the Cubs at age 34. I hope he pops off. That'd be great. So now where are we? We're at the international free agent signing, international amateurs. And I got a game plan mapped out here. How do I get to the main one? There we go. So we've got some guys that we're targeting already. Or, I mean, I haven't done anything with them, but mentally I'm targeting them. I'm about to share it with you guys. So our number one guy here is Jorge Rosales. League interest is low, and he wants $550K. Now, of course, that's going to go up. I don't think we're just going to get him that cheap. But with the low league interest, he might not go that high. And he's the third-rated hitter by potential, third-rated hitter by potential, according to our guy. So that's great. If we can get him, I don't know, 1.1 mil or something, that'd be amazing. But even if we have to pay more, we'll push up if the league catches on and starts to get interested. But right now, it looks like it could be a sneak gem. We'll see if it happens that way. Then you've got Estavo Zegri, who has average league interest with a 1 mil ask right now. Also high work ethic, just like Rosales, and a pretty damn good profile. Here's what he looks like. Just solid, bunch of greens everywhere. Big arm in the outfield. Needs to work on that range at 45. Not fast at all, but you can put him in a corner, right? He's not 16 years old and already a first baseman, and he's durable. So Zegri could be interesting. I didn't even show Rosales, pardon me on that. 70 home run power potential. Of course, not going to last at that level, probably. But he's 17 years old. Adaptability and work ethic, low greed, only a 50 ability, but so young that I think he can grow from there. So I'm not that worried about it. Doesn't really profile anywhere else defensively, so we would need him to improve. But the switch hitting catcher with this kind of hitting potential, got to take a shot, especially with the league interest being low, as well as the price, at least right now. And then for a potential third, we're looking at Ernesto Contreras for the same reason, with the very low league interest and the very low initial ask. Now, again, I expect all three of these to jump up in price a bit, but even with a decent jump, we should be able to afford all three. They all have high work ethic. This could be a banner year. We're going to prioritize them in the order that I just listed them. Let's start with Rosales, and let's see what he wants. Oh, no, we don't need commish mode. We are at the 550 right now. Again, I'm not even going to try with that because I think that is a pipe dream. So I am going to come in pretty aggro relative to what he wants right now. And I am going to go 1-1 and see if that can... Actually, you know what? What if we just go a milli flat? Let's just go a milli flat and see where he's at. Oh, bars. Now, we do have 4.75. So I think we could probably offer two of them at once. I mean, I'd be pretty surprised if Rosales jumped all the way up to the 4 plus mil. But I mean, if he does, I might have to, smoke Zegri or something. But I am going to get an offer in here right now and put him at 1. We'll go 1.5. That still leaves us 2.25 for boosts and our third guy, Contreras. Okay, so let's see where that takes us. Let's move forward a bit. We've got the preseason beginning here in about 2 weeks. I wonder if we'll get any more money, by the way. We are at 8 mil right now with our big scouting and development boosts too. So that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that, with the way things are kind of shaping up financially. So let's see what we got here. Let's go ahead and move. We'll go pending offers. And we'll just kind of go day to day a little bit here. We'll get the, both of them favor already. We'll get the Hall of Fame results. See if anybody made it in. Zegri. Oh, okay, Zegri just said he's interested. So did Rosales. All right. Nobody got in. Wow. Okay. Well, Hall of Fame votes have been tight this year. Like, guys just aren't getting in that belong in, I believe. I think Beltre, Beltran, Mauer, Wagner, Andrew Jones are easy in for me. I get A-Rod was suspended under the PED rules, so I get it if people aren't putting him in. I probably still would personally, but I'm not going to argue that one to the death because, again, he was suspended under the drug rules. It's not that cloud of like, well, it wasn't against the major league rules or whatever that some of the other guys use, which, I mean, is fair. Like, it wasn't. So holding that against them too much and like punishing 3 or 4 guys for the steroid era, I think is stupid. Helton, I think, is pretty close for me. Maybe not a slam dunk unquestioned type of guy, but definitely in for me. So I voted for him. I voted for a bunch of guys that didn't quite get anybody over the threshold. Whatever. I mean, it's not the end of the world. I did make a bunch of guys coaches, which you can do when you go in there. Actually, I don't know. Oh yeah, see, you can see that if it doesn't show up on their page, it means I already did it. And maybe I showed this last year. I don't know. Oh no, this is the first off season in this sim. So like we'll make Jimmy Rollins a coach. Then we'll go over here, look up Rollins, and a lot of them become pretty useful coaches too. I misspelled Rolland, Jimmy Rolland. So we go J-Roll coach, and he's got a lot of green. Now, probably better off as like a base coach, teaching the infield defense, great at teaching catching, excellent at it, in fact, good outfield defense, excellent teaching running. So base coach is really where you're going to want him because he's only decent at teaching hitting and pitching. But yeah, I mean, there's J-Roll. And again, I've done this with a bunch of guys. It's a great little feature. Highly recommend it. It comes from when you're in the Hall of Fame area. And you can do, oh, I didn't even do Mauer. I thought I definitely had created him. Beltran's already in there. Oh, dude, I thought I did. Oh, you know what? Okay, something didn't work. So I tried to do it where I selected like 4 guys at once and then hit create coach. I think it only created coach for the last guy I was on, because a bunch of these guys were supposed to be turned into coaches, and it didn't work. So anyway, yeah, you don't want to do it for everybody, I guess, because then you're flooding the market with maybe too much good personnel. But I like having some of these fun guys, and you better believe the millisecond, even though he's our character here, the millisecond that Curtis Granderson is on the Hall of Fame ballot, A, I'm voting for him, B, I'm turning him into a coach. Even though for the realism of our universe, it does kind of conflict with us being that character, I don't care. You know what? We'll hire him, and then he'll be GM, whatever coach we offer him to be, because he's that good. He could do both, so I don't want to hear it. Okay, it's happening. Oh, by the way, we signed this guy, Angel Felipe, to just like a minor league deal. 65, 60, 40 with 30 stamina, so definitely a reliever, but extreme ground ball, throws super hard. 26 years old, obviously not going to stay in the DSL. We just ended up signing him recently. Pop him all the way up to... He'll go to triple. We'll send him to trip. Let's get a fresh coat of scouting on this. There we go. 65, 65, 40, by the way. OSA has him at 60 movement. Our guy likes him a tick better there. So yeah, a little pitching pickup. Can never have too much pitching, right? Cliche for a reason, because it's just so damn true. All right, let's continue on here and see if we can get these guys signed. Kind of wrap up the episode with that. All right, Rosales said that the Angels are coming in a bit hotter, so he wants us to up the deal. That's fine. We kind of knew that was going to happen. They're at 1.5 right now. I'll hit you with a 175 and get that locked and loaded. And you'll take that, right? You'll just take that. Let's go ahead and just take that. Oh, where'd the other guy go? He smoked us? Zegri, what's going on? Where are you at? Zegri, my dude. Tell me he's signed and they just didn't give me an email on that. He did. Let's go. Zegri's in the complex. Why no email? He's not good enough to get an email? How dare they? Let's get another scouting report there. Get him up to very high. I'm so ridiculous about that. I think high, it's rarely going to change that much, but I got to have them all on very high. All right, so we did that. That's 1.5. We just upped our Rosales offer. Now, what about Contreras? You know what, guys? I can't roll my R's. I'll do my best with those name pronunciations, but the Contreras, I can't do it. Contreras. I'm gonna go white pronunciation on that. Duran, Urias, I do my best, okay? I know they're not strong pronunciations, but I definitely am trying. Contreras one just really ties me up. My stupid tongue just won't do what I want it to do. But just know that I know it's wrong. I'm not doing it out of like being an asshole and not caring. What if we with Contreras, let's go 3. That doubles what we'll go 350. Go way above what he was initially asking for. And see how he feels about that. And then we still have some wiggle room on Rosales if we need it. And then let's keep pushing. And maybe we'll get some extra money for... By the way, when I talk about the extra money from the preseason, it wouldn't be for this. So I'm kind of saying it as though they're related. That's a separate thing. But that is when you find out, is once the preseason starts, you find out if you get a few extra bucks. Sometimes more than a few extra bucks. Sometimes it's like 10, 12 mil. Felipe got up to very high, and his potential dropped 5 points for no reason. So that's pretty chill. No category drop, just his potential. Okay, I guess. All right, so we move forward. Both of our guys are favoring our offer. Let's see these both disappear and just be in our international complex. Boom. Did I just make that happen? Did I manifest? Is that how you manifest? I'm not in the manifesting community. Somebody gotta let poor Henry out. When I say somebody, I will literally just mean my girlfriend, because I'm obviously doing this, but she might be in a game right now, so he gotta wait a second. And the thing is too, he just went out. If it was like immediate, then we'd be on it, but he likes to go out a lot, so he needs to go. But anyway, we did get Rosales and Contreras. Rosales, I mean, again, just a crazy hitting profile for a catcher with the potential to improve. If we get that catching ability up to like 60 with like a 60 power, oh, that'd be amazing. He's a long way off, but hey, it's nice to have him. And then Contreras, also a big power guy. Not much defense there. He's in a corner, but also has the work ethic. So we're just seeing what's up. I mean, he was super cheap. Like, by the way, the rest of the profile is pretty flawed. It's power and eye. It's 3 true outcomes all day. Strikeout, walk, homer. But I mean, he's 16. There's like a lot of potential, a lot of time for him to grow. Let's get some extra scouting on both these guys. And I think we still have some money. What do we have left here? Let's just offer anybody. We got 1.15. So let's see what else we've got out here. Somebody like Nelson Nieves, there's just no way that he's not already above that. Yeah. We'll do our due diligence just to make sure. Luis Mercedes wants way more than that. Okay. Sergio Castillo wants. Okay. Done. Just had to, just because you never freaking know. Now, Castro, who I actually didn't have scouted, not entirely sure why. He's a 55 potential. I kind of like skipped over him for some guys below him. I don't entirely know why I did that when I was picking who to train, but whatever. He's got average. Oh no, we have an average relationship. He has high league interest, and he already wants 1.6 off rip. But he's willing to take 999 or 990,000. That's kind of interesting. I'm surprised he's down there. What about Alfredo Espinoza? High work ethic. I'm just such a sucker for that. I can't help it. Switch hitting 16-year-old. Where's he at right now? He's at 600 Gs. Kind of want to go for him. Kind of want to go for Alfredo Espinoza. What about a pitcher? Any pitchers out there worth looking at? Jesus Montiel. 750 is what he's looking for. High work ethic, kitchen sink arsenal with 6 pitches. Maybe a pitcher's worth getting after getting a couple of hitters. He's got killer personality. Nope, he's already at 2 mil. Never mind. Makes sense. He's one of the few strong pitchers out there. Valenzuela, yeah, way more than that. And Fraley, way more. Okay. So you know what? Espinoza it is. Let's see if we can get him. And I'll do 750. 750,000. That still leaves us a little bit, and you better believe I'm going to try to spend every nickel. Why not? You never know with the international guys, especially, and this happens in real life too. The guy who signs for 80 Gs can become the megastar prospect, and the guy who signs for 5 mil can be the flame out. It is so wide open in that in the international market for sure. Espinoza already got boosted by Philly. Let's see if we can still compete. We can. Let's just give him all of it. If not, we move on. Zegri got his full scouting in, and his potential contact and power both jumped to 60. The potential eye drops from 60 to 55. Fair trade-off there. We will take it all day. Red Sox coming in with a proposal to take Corey Rosier, who is a no-hit, glove-only outfielder with some speed, for Baez, but we eat 90% of it. Scott Harris says, sorry, boss, but this deal doesn't make too much sense to me, and he's right. Look, I get it. You're trying to see if we will just take anything to get out from under this deal. No, we will not. Again, I'm inclined to really stick with the bulk of it. I don't begrudge anybody who starts a Tiger sim and gets out from under him. That is totally fine. You trade off every big contract and you can do it. You take whatever you can get. Totally fine. But I want to up the degree of difficulty a little bit on some of these. So I'm mentally deeming a few guys in both the Rockies and the Tigers untradeable. First off, getting anything for them is going to be very difficult. But even if I could, I'm going to limit myself to not doing it because I want to see if I can work through it. So Baez is one of those guys, at least for the here and now. Maybe toward the back end, if things are just totally dreadful and we can get a token piece for the last year of his deal or something, maybe. But at this juncture, we're going to stick with Baez and see what we can do. Let's get back to our Espinosa situation, as well as get the preseason started here and flip the calendar over to February. The latest from Espinosa, likes it. Financial update. Raise your team's budget, 8 mil. Okay, so a little token. So we're at 16 mil now. Can we do something? Do we want to do something? What would that something be? Drew Verhagen signs for 1.14 mil. That makes more sense. Now, I don't know if anybody out here is worth the full go. Like Sonny Gray is not really changing our fate that much, but he costs the bulk of that money. I don't really see that, right? So if 50s are the only thing that's really left, then we don't really have a move. As far as hitters, you got Duvall. Like none of these hitters are moving the needle. And then from a pitcher standpoint, yeah, it is 50s. Matt Moore, we can bring him back. You know, it didn't work the first time around with Detroit. And then the second time around, we ended up getting, what did we get for him again? That was for the Antico and Yancel Guerrero deal. We can bring him back a third time when he's still good, but on a fair price, and utilize him. 1 year, 4.4. I might try to whittle that down and consider it. We could use a lefty to replace Beeks, basically, and so maybe he's that guy. Maybe Matt Moore is that dude. We ought to take the 40-man spot from Beeks because we need it. We are full right now. And yeah, we'll see about that. I don't know if we're going to make an extra move there to spend that money. It might be better to use via trade, take on a big contract. But again, we're not in that position where we take on one contract and it really moves the needle, you know? Potential contact moves up for Rosales in the latest scouting. So now he's at very high with 60, 40, 70, 65, 45 as a hitting profile, durable, and a good personality. So I think we killed the international game, y'all. Even if Espinosa doesn't sign, I think we absolutely killed it. Let's see if we can get this last offer in here and cap off the episode. We're moving into February. See if we get a good player development report as well. Actually, I don't know. Is the January one good? No, it looks like it's pretty modest. In fact, it's Enriquez and our international guys. So not a big one there. I think the one going into March and then the end of spring training one, I think those two are more robust. All right, so we moved Beeks off there. Now we're at 15 pitchers, 14 hitters. A few more will get called up, of course, from the minors for spring training. We'll see how that goes. And Contreras wants more, or Espinosa wants more money. We do not have that. So we withdraw, and we'll have to see if there's anybody else to go for it. Problem is, I think I'm gonna have to handle that offline because we gotta scout some more guys, right? With everyone signing, we have some more spots to invite to training, and we can at least get a little bit of training done. So I'll handle that offline, see if we can get a third piece. Probably won't be all that much. You know, I'm probably going to be looking at some of these 45s, maybe a 40 with a high work ethic. We'll see what's out there. I'm not expecting to really move the needle big time, but I am going to spend that money. That wraps up a pretty exciting offseason here. We're pretty much done. We might get one more piece in the international market, but other than that, Watanabe, William Adames, Ronnie Enriquez from the Rule 5, Franklin DaCosta from trade, Mike Soroka from trade. Those are our real big, Savali with the signing. Those are our big moves. And I feel pretty good about it. We had a bunch of money. We poured it back into the team primarily by boosting the scouting and draft budgets. In fact, we're going to boost those up a bit more. That's where the money's going to go, actually. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's where it's going to go. And we still have $8 million left. So we use that extra $8 million to go right into the scouting and development. And then we still have $8 million if we do need to make a move and maybe add somebody by taking on a few bucks. And it looks like the excitement is being drummed up a bit more. 23% jump in season tickets. Let's go. I did drop ticket prices a little bit, give the fans a little something there since we weren't a winning team, but we just signed some big players, made some big trades, get that excitement going, and hopefully we can make some moves here in 2024. I'm not expecting playoffs, but a little 500 type season with some development of players both on the major league roster and throughout the minors would be incredible. In episode 5, we will put the final bow on the offseason, get into spring training, and maybe even kick off the 2024 season. But until then, peace.